This is TWiT.
You want your breath taken away? Price an iPad Pro 12.9-inch with the Magic keyboard. Yeah. Suddenly, this thing not only weighs more than my MacBook
Suddenly,
Air,
an Intel Mac
more.
sounds cheap.
Yes.
An Intel Mac sounds cheap.
But it is very... Okay, so you don't have it, Rene, and Andy, you don't have it. Lory,
I think mine comes tomorrow.
You got the Logitech or the Bridge.
No, I have the Magic Keyboard.
What do you think?
I wrote a review yesterday if anybody wants to check it out. I'm not going to say I'm disappointed in it. That's not the case. I think I had very high expectations that Apple was going to solve the problem of lap usage with the keyboard and on iPad. And frankly, they didn't solve it. To me, I have the same issues with wobbliness and, it tips a little bit if I'm not at the right angle. I have to have my knees at a 90-degree angle.
You're lapping for the iPad. You're putting it in your lap.
Yeah. Because that's what most people are going to do. Like,
really?
there's going to be some people who are going to sit there at their desktop the whole time. But most people are going to be sitting there watching TV with their iPads on their lap. And that's what I'm trying to appeal to is the people who are like me, who just want to sit there and kind of type away while they're just lounging around.
So
and
you have the 11-inch.
I do.
12.9. Yeah.
Correct. Yeah.
And it's so you feel like. Well, see, I got mine an hour ago, so I don't have no reason.
Do me a favor. One of the things that you should do.
Yeah. Put it in my lap.
Sit on the couch and keep it on your lap, and don't have your legs at a 90-degree angle, and see what happens.
I often sit with my legs crossed like this, so it works all right.
Yeah.
But
and it didn't solve for that problem. So I was a little bit and again, it's not that I'm disappointed. I think it's great, and I think they did successfully make as much compromise as possible. The way it's angled makes it a very good idea for its ability to try to compromise with that balance and the fact that it's a little top heavy. It's a very creative idea and a creative way to do it. But for that price, it didn't solve that problem for me, which means they overcomplicated it and still didn't fix it. So that's where I'm at with that.
I feel like if I'm going to use it in my lap, I'm going to take it off anyway. I'm not going to use it that way. I'm going to use it and be swiping and touching. This is, to me, a laptop replacement more than anything else.
It's a dock. I think that's the thing that some people missed. Like, there was a bunch of different reviews on it, and some were like, I don't get it. It's heavier than the other keyboard case. But when you watch that Craig Federighi video, he comes over, slaps it down. When he's finished, he picks it up, walks away with the tablet. It looked very clearly, intentionally like a dock more than like a carrying case to me.
That's a good point.
It's really easy to just pop off. It's really easy to pop off and just hold it in your lap like a tablet. Absolutely.
Actually, it is.
That's the best part about it. Yeah.
Yeah. It is a dock in that sense. It comes right off.
Yeah.
And it's very solidly attached to it. I feel like if you're on a table, Lory, and maybe this and by the way, I did seem to be the people who were using the 11-inch liked it less than the people who were using the 12.9-inch. So it might be it's better suited to a larger iPad. I don't know.
Yeah, it could be because it might make an 11-inch laptop is too small. It's just in general nobody makes 11-inch laptop because they're small.
Not even Apple anymore.
So
7.9-inch Pro, give it to me now. No, but I want it.
I do have to say that once you create this dock with an integrated keyboard, you really are asking people to think of this as a laptop configuration. So I don't necessarily disagree, but I think that a lot of people are going to be I think that they at minimum should do some education on what people should expect about the stability of this configuration.
Yeah, I mean, I sit on
it's not going to fall over on the desk. It's pretty
right.
When I use my laptop on my lap, sitting on my lap. I don't only use my laptop on a desk. I sit in front of the television on my couch with it.
You can do that.
And so absolutely the stability there is there, and it's fantastic when you're at a desk. But again, so are 100 other keyboards that are half that price. And that's what I was thinking of is that.
Oh, no, I agree with you. Yes.
At that price, I wanted this to be a miracle. I wanted it to make and it wasn't. So to me, it's just as good as, and frankly, a little bit better than every other keyboard case out there. Because the Magic Keyboard keys, oh my gosh, it feels so good.
It's a real
keyboard.
It
feels so good, yeah. But for that price, I think that I expected more from it. That's where I'm at with it.
Well, and this relates back to the iPhone SE conversation, which is that Apple clearly is willing to say price is no object. What's the best thing we can do? And then understands that that's still price is definitely an object for most people. So what can we do for a lower price? I wonder if they'll make a lower price, once they...
I think they outsourced to Logitech for that.
That's probably what it is, huh? The third parties.
They use Logitech and Belkin and a couple other people to sort of make the stuff that they don't have the bandwidth to make at any given time, but really would like for launch.
For me, and again, I just got it, so I can't judge it. But I think to me, this is a very interesting thing. It's an interesting form factor to take an iPad and turn it into a laptop.
It's a cool look.
It's an interesting idea to me. An idea that I want to explore a little bit more because it may be this is the laptop I actually want.
Leo, myself and some of my coworkers at iMore, Brian Wolf and Christine Chan and Joe Keller, we have made a pact. We are working exclusively on our iPads for 1 week straight, and Brian is actually going to do it for a month straight because he's going to write the full article about it and give our feedback on the things we thought were great and the pain points that we had. Because when we start thinking about can you use a laptop or can you use an iPad as a laptop, where we get stuck is what we're used to. And if we could let go of the familiarity of a laptop, maybe an iPad could be a laptop replacement. And the one way to do that is to immerse yourself in that experience and not use anything else. So right now, I'm on my iMac because I got permission for this week to be able to use my iMac just to podcast. But everything else that I've been doing has been exclusively on the iPad. And there are some definite pain points. But what I'm realizing is that I'm quickly learning how to overcome those and compensate for the shortcomings of, for example, not being able to have multiple windows just kind of open and peppered all over my home screen. So yeah, I think the key though is you have to put the lock on your Mac to see whether or not this legitimately is something you could do, because it's going to be hard. You're going to say, this sucks, I don't want to do this, there's so many things missing. But once you get used to it, I wonder if maybe we could change our minds on that.
The gestures are very natural.
I have like a concern.
Intuitive. Yes, Rene.
So my concern is this. Like, I don't ever want to force the iPad to be my laptop. I want it to be an iPad. And I think that excitement Steve Jobs had about introducing the iPad was so vital, so important. And I still remember the iPad 2. All of my high school teachers were there buying them, people for whom traditional computers were always so alienating and unapproachable. And for a long time, Apple resisted making the iPad into more of a traditional computer. But nerds are so loud. We're so vicious. We're on Twitter all the time. Where's our file system? Where's our this? And I understand that because, again, we want every product to be for us. And I use the iPad. I use it as an iPad. I draw on it all the time. I write. I do all these things on it. But I use my Mac for very Mac-y Mac things, like multi-window things, Final Cut Pro, podcasting, where I need to use things like Rogue Amoeba software for routing audio in all sorts of new and wonderful ways. I have a very West Wing feeling about this, where I want to let the iPad be the iPad, let it evolve to be more, but I don't ever want it to be sort of constrained by what we think a Mac and what traditional computer users think should be their domain.
That's
Rene,
true. The only note I'd add is that Apple is to be applauded for making really amazing $329 iPads, but they also make $1,000 iPads that cost more than a mid-range Windows notebook. On that basis, it's not necessarily inappropriate for someone who spent that amount of money to say, well, why can't I use a mouse with this? Boy, or say, I really, really want to be, I really, really would love to have an iPad. I'd love to have an iPad so much more than a Windows notebook. But the thing is, this one when I need to be productive, it doesn't let me be productive. And
no,
so
I think that's totally fair. I just think
from.
It's not like I would like a
You're
Mac,
right.
but the iPad is shinier and newer, and damn it, it should be a Mac. Like I think there's a lot of use cases where I think it will one day be more profound than that. And I like that Apple takes their time. It's not like they're going, we're going to take the Mac mouse model and just superimpose it on the iPad, which they didn't do. The pointer system is completely different. Maybe it's better, maybe it's worse. But I like that they're investigating new ways. They're not just carrying over the baggage of the previous type of computer. They're trying new things. I just want to make sure that, if you really do prefer a Mac, it is okay to use a Mac.